Alright, so all praise to Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem, Racha, HaQuadash. Double honors to my elders, apostles, and the bishops of Great Millstone, where I have learned this truth and where I am still learning this truth. And also shalom to the other sincere followers of this truth. Alright, so today is going to be the third video. Alright, really four, but it's going to be the third video actually going into the lesson minus the intro. Okay, this is going to be the third video in the series Teach Exactly What You Were Taught, with the topic being Hell, a Cunningly Devised Fable. Okay, we're speaking on this hell doctrine, all right, that has been a lie, which is what most people think of when they hear that word hell, when speaking of the scriptures, especially, right, as a place where you burn forever. There is no such place. All right, and that's what we are breaking down in this series, is this cunningly devised fable. Okay, in this video we're going to go into the word Hades. All right, so that's where we're going to go into. Let me get this stuff set up. So we started with part 1 being the word Sheol, part 2 being the word hell, part 3 is this video, and we're going to go into Hades. And if you have been paying attention and listening, these words are all synonyms within each other. Okay, so we're going to start into we're going to go to the definition of Hades. So Hades and hell, okay, again, are synonyms, along with Sheol and Hades, hell, Sheol, and Gehenna. Okay, so let's go in the Zondervan Bible, Compact Bible Dictionary, and look at the word Hades again. Okay. Okay, it reads Hades. All right. It says not to be seen. It says the place or state of the dead. Did you hear that? A place or state of the dead. The equivalent of the Hebrew Sheol, which is variously rendered grave. All right. Hell. Okay. Pit. All right. It says the New Testament word generally translated hell does not necessarily imply a place of torment, but connotes the grim and cheerless aspect of death. It may include the idea of retribution. Okay, so now what we're going to go look at is why I left my Bible out here. Hold on a second. Okay, what we're going to do is go to Revelation. I'm going to use technology again, okay? Okay. We're going to go to Revelation 1 and 18. Let's read that and see what it says. Okay, Revelation 1 and 18. It reads, I am he. This is in red letter, okay? It says, I am he that liveth and was dead, and behold, I am alive forevermore. Amen. And have the keys of hell and of death. Okay? And Lord willing, we will go into a lesson a teach exactly we were taught on that subject, the keys of what did it say? Hell and death. Okay, but now let's go to Revelation 6:14. What does it say? It says, "And the heaven departed as a scroll when it is rolled together, and every mountain and island were moved out of their places." Okay, all right. So what does that mean? Okay, did I read 14? Yeah. Okay. Uh, all right. Now let's go to Revelation 20. All right, and read verses 13 and 14. It reads, "And the sea gave up the dead which were in it, and death and hell delivered up the dead which were in them, and they were judged every man according to their works. And death and hell were cast into the lake of fire. This is the second death." All right, so how can hell be cast into hell? All right, how is that? What did that mean? And death and hell were cast into a lake of fire. All right, this is the second death. So how can it be like this? What does that mean? All right, which goes into why you need to get understanding of these words. Okay, all right. So Hades and hell are synonymous. All right. Okay. Um, Now we're gonna go into the word Gehenna. All right. See what that is. Now, I know I read these in the introduction, but let's read it again. I'm gonna go straight to the point. It says, after the Old Testament period, all right, Jewish apocalyptic writers began to call the Valley of Hinnom the entrance to hell. Later, hell itself. Okay. So now let's go to let's check this out in Ecclesiastes chapter 3. Chapter 3, and we're going to read verses 17 through 21 in the NLT. Or I mean in the King James. It says, "I said in mine heart, God shall judge the righteous and the wicked, for there is a time, therefore, for there is a time there for every purpose and for every work. I said in mine heart concerning the estate of the sons of men, that God might manifest them, and that they might see that they themselves are beasts. Uh, for that which befalleth the sons of men befalleth beasts. Every one thing befalleth them. As the one dieth, so dieth the other." So we die just like animals do, all right? So dieth the other, okay? Yea, they have all one breath, so that a man hath no preeminence above a beast, for all is vanity. All go unto one place. All are of the dust, and all turn to dust again. All right, verse 21, it says, "Who knoweth the spirit of man that goeth upward, and the spirit of beasts that goeth downward toward the earth?" Okay, so when animals die, their spirit goes to the earth. And when we die as human beings, all right, all of our spirits go to the Father. They go to the heavens, all right? And the Father does with the spirits as he wishes, okay? Um, so now let's go to Job. Actually, should I? Let me see. Let me read that in the NLT just to see what it says. All right, Ecclesiastes chapter 3, 17 through 21. It says, "I said to myself, in due season God will judge everyone, both good and bad, for all their deeds. I also thought about the human condition, how God proves to people that they are like animals. For people and animals share the same fate. Both breathe, and both must die. So people have no real advantage over the animals. How meaningless. Both go to the same place. They came from dust, and they return to dust. For who can prove that the human spirit goes up and the spirit of animals goes down into the earth?" All right. Uh, so let me see what that says in the Good News Translation. Oops. Ecclesiastes 3, 17 through 21. In the Good News Translation, it says, "I told myself, God is going to judge the righteous and the evil alike, because every action, will happen at its own set time." All right. Uh, verse 18, it says, "I decided that God is testing us to show us that we are no better than animals. After all, the same fate awaits human beings and animals alike. One dies just like the other. They are the same kind of creature. A human being is no better off than an animal because life has no meaning for either. They are both going to the same place, the dust. They both came from it. They will both go back to it. How can anyone be sure that the human spirit goes upward while an animal's spirit goes down into the ground?" All right. And how can we be sure of that? Because the Lord, all right, the Lord tells us that the spirit goes back to the heavens where it was granted, all right, where it was granted from. As a matter of fact, let's go to Psalm 116 and verse 3. It says, "The sorrows of death compassed me, and the pains of hell gat hold upon me. I found trouble and sorrow." All right, so pains of hell. All right, this was David. All right, this is David, and the pain. When it says the pains of hell, it was talking of his enemies constantly being in pursuit of him. All right, it was hell on him. Okay. All right. Now let's look at Let me see what that says in the NLT. It says, "Death wrapped its ropes around me. The terrors of the grave overtook me. I saw only trouble and sorrow." All right. Psalm 116. And 3 in the Good News, it says, "The danger of death was all around me. The horrors of the grave closed in on me." All right. It says, I was filled with fear and anxiety. All right, now let's go to, that was a Good News Translation. Let's go to 1 Corinthians. 1 Corinthians 15, 53 through 55. All right. It reads, for this corruptible, all right, this body, okay, must put on incorruption, and this mortal must put on immortality. So when this corruptible shall have put on incorruption, and this mortal shall have put on immortality, then shall be brought to pass the saying that is written, death is swallowed up in victory. All right. Verse 55, it says, O death, where is thy sting? O grave, where is thy victory? All right. Now let's see what that word grave means in the scripture. It says, in biblical Greek, it is associated with Orcus, the infernal regions, a dark and dismal place in the very depths of the earth, the common receptacle of disembodied spirits. Usually, Hades is just the abode of the wicked. All right, a very uncomfortable place. Okay. All right. So the pit. All right, that's where the dead go, to the ground. Okay. Now let's see what disembodied means.
Disembodied. Disembodied.
All right. It's an adjective. It says separated from or existing without the body. Okay. All right. So let's see in the scriptures what it says about where you go when you die. Okay. Hold on. This is Ecclesiastes 12. All right. And I'm going to read from the top down to 7. Ecclesiastes 12. The heading says, remember God in your youth. All right. All right. Ecclesiastes 12. Remember God in your youth. I'm going to read from 1 to, did I say 7? Yeah. Okay. So it reads, remember now thy Creator in the days of thy youth, while the evil days come not, nor the years draw nigh, when thou shalt say, I have no pleasure in them, while the sun or the light or the moon or the stars be not darkened, nor the clouds return after the rain. In the day when the keepers of the house shall tremble, and the strong men shall bow themselves, and the grinders cease because they are few, and those that look out of the windows be darkened. And the doors shall be shut in the streets, when the sound of the grinding is low, and he shall rise up at the voice of the bird, and all the daughters of music shall be brought low. Also, when they shall be afraid of that which is high, and fears shall be in the way, and the almond tree shall flourish, and the grasshopper shall be a burden, and desire shall fail, because man goeth to his long home, and the mourners go about the streets. Or ever the silver cord be loosed, or the golden bowl be broken, or the pitcher be broken at the fountain, or the wheel broken at the cistern. All right, or when you die. Okay, now hold on. I'm gonna go to the NLT and the good news. All right, so Ecclesiastes 12:7. This is a point. Then shall the dust return to the earth as it was, and the spirit shall return unto God who gave it. All right, so everyone's spirit goes back up to the Heavenly Father when we die. All right, let me read that again in the NLT. It says, don't let the excitement of youth cause you to forget your Creator. Honor Him in your youth before you grow old and say, life is not pleasant anymore. Remember Him before the light of the sun, moon, and the stars is dim to your old eyes, and rain clouds continually darken your sky. Remember Him before your legs, the guards of your house, start to tremble, and before your shoulders, the strong men stoop. Remember Him before your teeth, your few remaining servants. Stop grinding before your eyes. The women look through the windows, see dimly. All right. Verse 4, remember Him before the doors to life's opportunities is closed, and the sound of work fades. Now you rise at the first chirping of the birds, but then all their sounds will grow faint. Remember Him before you become fearful of falling and worry about danger in the streets, before your hair turns white like an almond tree in bloom, and you drag along without energy like a dying grasshopper. All right. And the caperberry no longer inspires sexual desire. Remember Him before you near the grave, your everlasting home, when the mourners will weep at your funeral. All right, this is verse 6 of Ecclesiastes chapter 12 in the NLT. It says, yes, remember your Creator now while you are young, before the silver cord of life snaps and the golden bowl is broken. Don't wait until the water jar is smashed at the spring and the pulley is broken at the well. For then the dust will return to the earth, and the spirit will return to God who gave it. All right, so that goes back to that worldly quote that I like. Live today, which is the period of opportunity, or die an opportunist. Right? When things start going bad, that's when most people call on Him today. That's when most people think about Him. Only when things are bad. All right, for them, they don't pay attention to the big picture. They don't pay attention to what the scriptures have been telling you. I got the hiccups. Have been telling you is going to happen. And these things are steadily escalating. All right. I lost my train of thought right there. Oh, so think of Him now. Think of Him all the time. Consider the Lord at all times. Constantly search for Him. All right, and He will draw nigh to you. You draw nigh to Him, he will draw nigh to you. Or you come near to the Lord, he will come near to you. And that a part of that is what? Refusing these fables, these old wives' tales. All right, come to the truth. Okay, so let's go to let's do that again in the Good News Translation. Ecclesiastes chapter 12. All right, I'm going to read 1 through 7 in the Good News Translation. All right, it says, so remember your Creator while you are, excuse me, while you are still young, before those dismal days and years come when you will say, I don't enjoy life. That is when the light of the sun, the moon, and the stars will grow dim for you, and the rain clouds will never pass away. Then your arms that have protected you will tremble, and your legs, now strong, will grow weak. Your teeth will be too few to chew your food, and your eyes too dim to see clearly. Your ears will be deaf to the noise of the street. You will barely be able to hear the mill as it grinds or music as it plays. But even the song of a bird will wake you from your sleep. You will be afraid of high places, and walking will be dangerous. Your hair will turn white. You will hardly be able to drag yourself along, and all desire will be gone. All right. We are going to our final resting place, and then there will be mourning in the streets. Verse 6, the silver chain will snap, and the golden lamp will fall and break. The rope at the well will break, and the water jar will be shattered. Verse 7, our bodies will return to the dust of the earth, and the breath of life will go back to God who gave it to us. All right. So hell, Sheol, Gehenna, and Hades are all synonymous, and there is no place where you burn forever. There are only cunningly devised fables, all right, used as a mechanism of fear. All right, you can tell most people don't even fear that. They know it's not real because what do? They go on sinning in this life, not wanting to turn to the Lord. All right. So this little fable of fear, this little fable called hell isn't even working on people. All right. They just use it as control, but that is it's not working anymore because the truth is coming out. Okay. So with that, uh, just so I just want to go over this one more time. So hell can be a state of mind or a state of play. Actually, hold on. Yeah, there is something. Where do we serve out our judgment? Where do we serve out judgment? Where is judgment served at? Let me see. Listen to this. This is also Ecclesiastes. All right, this is in chapter 3. I think I want to read it all. Yeah, actually, I read right below this. So I'm going to read 1 through 16 of Ecclesiastes chapter 3, all right, which is where we were. Yeah, we read Ecclesiastes 3, 17 on down to 21. But I'm going to read 1 through 16. All right? Because where is judgment played out? Okay? Where's judgment played out? Now listen to this. Ecclesiastes 3. This is 1 through 16. It says, To everything there is a season and a time to every purpose under the heaven. All right. Verse 2, it says, A time to be born and a time to die, a time to plant and a time to pick up that which is planted, a time to kill and a time to heal, a time to break down and a time to build up, a time to weep and a time to laugh, a time to mourn and a time to dance, a time to cast away stones and a time to gather stones together, a time to embrace and a time to refrain from embracing, a time to get and a time to lose, a time to keep and a time to cast away, a time to rend and a time to sow, a time to keep silence and a time to speak, a time to love and a time to hate, a time of war and a time of peace. All right, and we're headed. This is wartime basically. All right, it started. This just has a wild. I mean, it's going to amp up. All right, a lot of people out here thinking that there's nothing going on. Okay, until a missile hit them in their face. All right. Uh, and then after this, all right, when the Lord comes back, it's going to be that time of peace. All right, an eternal time of peace, because the righteous will be ruling. All right, right now the wicked are in rulership. All right. Um, verse 9 of Ecclesiastes chapter 3. It says, What profit hath he that worketh in that wherein he laboureth? I have seen the travail which God hath given to the sons of men to be exercised in it. He hath made everything beautiful in his time. Also, he hath set the world in their heart, so that no man can find out the work that God maketh from the beginning to the end. I know that there is no good in them, but for a man to rejoice and to do good in his life. All right. Verse 13. And also that every man should eat and drink and enjoy the good of all his labor. It is the gift of God. I know that whatsoever God doeth, it shall be forever. Nothing can be put to it, nor anything taken from it. And God doeth it, that men should fear before him. Right? A very good example are the words of this book. Okay? Don't worry, I'm going to read the NLT and the good news. Okay? Where was I? All right, this is Ecclesiastes 3 and 15. It says, That which hath been is now, and that which is to be hath already been, and God requireth that which is past. And moreover, I saw under, listen to this now, this is a point. Where does judgment play out? All right. Verse 16, Ecclesiastes 3 and 16. And moreover, I saw under the sun, I got ahead of myself. And moreover, I saw under the sun the place of judgment. All right, what place is under the sun? This place, right here on earth. All right, that wickedness was there, and the place of righteousness, that iniquity was there. Okay, so this is where judgment is played out. All right, Ecclesiastes 3. Let's go to the NLT. All right, it says a time for everything. All right, it says for everything there is a season, a time for every activity under heaven, a time to be born and a time to die, a time to plant and a time to harvest, a time to kill and a time to heal, a time to tear down and a time to build up, a time to cry and a time to laugh, a time to grieve and a time to dance, a time to scatter stones and a time to gather stones, a time to embrace and a time to turn away, a time to search and a time to quit searching, a time to keep and a time to throw away, a time to tear and a time to mend, a time to be quiet and a time to speak, a time to love and a time to hate, a time for war and a time for peace. What do people really get for all their hard work? I have seen the burden God has placed on us all. Yet, God has made everything beautiful for its own time. He has planted eternity in the human heart, in their heart, all right, in a human heart. But even so, people cannot see the whole scope of God's work from beginning to end. So I concluded there is nothing better than to be happy and enjoy ourselves as long as we can. And people should eat and drink and enjoy the fruits of their labor, for these are gifts from God. And I know that whatever God does is final. Nothing can be added to it or taken from it. God's purpose is that people should fear him. What is happening now has happened before, and what will happen in the future has happened before, because God makes the same thing happen over and over again. I also noticed that under the sun there is evil in the courtroom. Yes, even the courts of law are corrupt. That was kind of off. That's off like a. That's off. That's. It's all right if you have understanding. All right, even if you have understanding, that's kind of. It's not saying it said it better in the King James. All right. Anyway, your spirit goes back to the Lord when we die. The body goes to the pit or hell, or it can be a condition of the mind. Most of the time, when people clock in at a job they don't like, what do they say? That they're going to that they've clocked into hell. All right. Or if you get stuck in traffic, all right, they'll say you're stuck in hell. All right. There are different kinds of conditions that people call hell, but there's not a place where you burn forever. That's just a fable, an old wives' tale. All right. So with that, I'd like to say all praise to Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem, Rakaha Kwadash. Double honors to my elders, apostles, and the bishops of Great Millstone, where I've learned this truth and where I'm still learning this truth. And also shalom to the other sincere followers of this truth. All right. Until next time, shalom.